Welcome, Ultimate Hoops. I'm here with Sean Richardson. We're at Algonquin tonight, but we're going to cover our Interleague week we had at Schaumburg and Bloomingdale. Sean, how do you think it went this week?
I think every game was pretty close. There were three really close games decided by 3-4 points. One game even went into double overtime. I thought it was a really cool interleague play because both clubs got to see what the other club had to offer. They got to see the top teams and where they stood as far as like ranking is in Chicago goes.
Okay. So Monday night we had Limitless facing off against Lake Show. You play for Lake Show, Bloomingdale team against Limitless. Your former teammate Jarvis Cobb and Fred Taylor. So how do you think that one went?
I think that was a really good game for Lake Show and a very unpromising game for Limitless because it just kind of showed where Limitless is lacking in guard play. It seems like Fred Taylor has to do it all. Jarvis and BA need somebody to create a shot for them to be more effective, and they're probably shooting career lows in field goal percentage and three-point percentage. It kind of looks like Fred's doing it all by himself every week for them.
Lake Show got the big pickup of Mike McGahee. He's really making an impact on that team this week with that big win.
Yeah, Mike McGahee's actually my pick for Schaumburg's Rookie of the Year. I think he's one of the top players in Ultimate Hoops. As far as Chicago goes, he can penetrate, he can facilitate. He inconsistent outside shooter, but he's a very good defender. He does everything, and I think he's definitely U-Hoops one of the top players.
Okay, and then game right after that, you had to go back in with your lunchtime crew, face off against the Bloomingdale hard target team, who's really trying to prove themselves this season and put themselves on the map. That one went into double overtime. What can you say about those two teams?
Hard Target, I think, is another really impressive team because of a rookie, a newcomer onto the U-Hoop scene, Wayne Sears. I think he's also one of the top players in Ultimate Hoops. He's pretty much like a Willie Jr., Willie 2.0, except maybe a little bit more basketball savvy, not as active, but he's strong, he can penetrate hard, he's very athletic, he can shoot the outside jumper. You can't take any plays off when you're guarding him. I'm really impressed by him.
Okay. How do you feel about lunchtime after this week?
Lunchtime, I feel like they pretty much just threw that game away. They should have had the victory. They were up. We were up 2 points, 30 seconds left, and we took an ill-advised shot. And then it gave Hard Target the chance to go down and score, tie the game up, and that's what sent us into overtime. I just think the camaraderie and the chemistry isn't there for lunchtime yet. So I figure once they figure that out, they'll be a much better team.
Okay. In our next game, then we had Flight X. They were without T. Roots and Pierre Black, facing New Eras. They're kind of a stacked team. They got a lot of talent on that team. A lot of high flyers: Jeff McCammon, John Shadipo, Quinn Butler, Sean. Almost their starting lineup can dunk, every one of them. So.
Yeah, their team's a perfect example of a lot of talent, but talent doesn't always equate to wins. Your teams, they need glue guys. They need people who are willing to take the back seat, people who are willing to do the dirty work. And I don't know how many players on that team are willing to do something like that and still be successful or still be effective on the court to help the team be successful. I think they got a lot of stars. But after that, I'm not really that impressed by that team. You can go to the game and see a lot of dunks, but they're not going to be one of the top teams in Bloomingdale.
Did that game show anything about from Flight X then, or is it just they were understaffed this week?
I feel like Flight X is just they're kind of crumbling after the loss of Larry Martin, who was really like a spark plug for them. He got up the court. Nobody can stay in front of him. If he's got the outside jumper going, he can get you 8, 9, 10 quick points in a row, which opens everything else up for Mark Holmes, Taliaferro Roots. Gave you a chance to get in there and rebound and cut to the lane and do the extra dirty work. And I just feel like they're as they're losing players, they're kind of like falling apart a little bit. So I don't know how they're going to overcome that loss.
Do you feel like having those two guys missing this week gave other guys a chance to really try to be more aggressive in their roles?
I feel like one player on their team that needs to be more aggressive is Eric Shue. He's a very talented player. He's unselfish. He's smart. He's strong, athletic, and he can shoot the outside jumper. He doesn't have the aggressive nature to not necessarily take over a game, but score when he needs to, and his team definitely needs him to score.
Okay. Our final game at Schaumburg on Monday night, we had Watch the Throne playing against, I believe they're number 1 in Chicago right now, Unlimited Edition from Bloomingdale. Mm-hmm. That one came down to Watch the Throne taking the win there and putting themselves on the map.
Well, yeah, Watch the Throne is actually one of the more impressive teams in Schaumburg to me. They started off 0-2, and after that, they just got it together. They clicked. Everybody starts to learn their role, and they play very hard defense. Everyone on the team can shoot, pass, and score. And, I mean, it's hard to play against a team like that when everyone's unselfish. No, even Bobby Rhodes, no one cares who takes what shot at what point. So I feel like that's a big advantage they have. And they played against Jeremy Parker-less Unlimited Edition. So to me, they're definitely not at their best without him. He's one of Bloomingdale's top scorers, one of the best rebounders, best outside shooters. So that game showed me a lot about Watch the Throne, but it didn't show me much about Unlimited Edition. I don't feel like that was a big loss for them.
Okay. Then we move into Tuesday night. We had another full lineup. Schaumburg guys came over there. Starting off with free balling, playing against Team America. Team America featuring a lot of free agents. Yeah. Free balling, John Shadipo, Dan Judd, who's a workhorse out there.
Yeah, I know that team. Dan Judd to me is best big man in Ultimate Hoops right now. He's the Kevin Love of Ultimate Hoops right now. He gets every offensive rebound he wants. He can shoot the outside jump shot. He's great in the post. He knows how to make the extra pass. I feel like with him, and if John Shadipo can get the other players engaged, that'll be a really good team. They just haven't necessarily put it together yet.
Next game after that, we got Homeboys, undefeated, coming in, facing No Size, the old school team, been around forever. Any of those teams kind of reveal who they are in that game?
Well, the Homeboys just showed who they've always been. They're deeply talented. They got one of the best outside scorers and Ryan Harris. They got Willie Clark, who's one of the top players in Ultimate Hoops. John Jacobs, very underrated point guard who doesn't really get the recognition he deserves. He can shoot, he can drive, he can play make. But when you got so many different players on the team that can all do that as well, you kind of don't shine as much. So they also got Willie Clark Sr., who I believe is one of the most important glue guys in Ultimate Hoops. He can rebound, he can make the extra pass, he can finish layups. He can pretty much do it all. Even surprise you with a three every now and then. So I felt that team is just deeply talented. So they're just showing who they've always been.
Did No Size show you what they're missing? I mean, they're without Elise Pida now. Doug Lambert's still trying to do his thing. Yeah,
I mean, Doug Lambert, he plays well. I feel like Rob O, the shooting guard, is one of the most explosive shooting guards in Bloomingdale. He's a volume shooter instead of just being a playmaker, and I feel like that's kind of what holds him back. I feel like he needs to do more than he actually needs to. And No Size is obviously one of the talented teams, but sometimes they take themselves out of it by too much one-on-one play or not hustling as much as they need to. And I just think No Size, if they learn to calm down and play with each other, they're easily one of the top teams in Bloomingdale.
Okay. Kind of the game that everybody kind of wanted to see was our third game. We had the Bulls, reigning champions at Schaumburg, facing the reigning champions, That's What She Said, at Bloomingdale. Keys for the Bulls, they were without Slop. They were without Nick Cordero, Chanel Davis. So do you feel like that said anything about the Bulls or said more about That's What She Said?
It said a lot about That's What She Said. It showed that they are not really scared to go up against anybody. I mean, they saw Mike Brown there. They saw Derek Edwards, who are 6'7" and 6'8", and nobody on that team's even 6'4". So they just showed a lot of heart and, showed that they can play with anybody, play against anybody. They just show up and compete. What it showed me about the Bulls was their lack of guard play. Kevin Parker took 42 shots.
That's a lot.
He took above 40 shots. I mean, and part of that due to the fact that his help as far as handling the ball isn't that great. He has to do everything on his own, whereas in past teams he had Slop Watson or Bobby Rhodes or Ryan Harris that he could be a complement to, and he's a perfect complement. I mean, he can take the outside jumper, he can finish inside, he can post up smaller guards, but when he has to do it all on his own, I don't think he's that type of player. So pretty much that showed me a lot about the Bulls. They're missing Chanel Davis a lot. I don't think they've won too many games since he hasn't showed up.
Okay. Last game, post-traumatic, winless on the season, comes in to Bloomingdale and takes out All Black Everything. There's a lot of hype with All Black Everything, adding Mark Holmes, but they were without, Delvon Moneyham this week and couldn't put it together.
Exactly, and that's exactly what I mean about glue guys. All Black Everything, they're missing Delvon Moneyham, who averages about 10 rebounds a game. He hustles, he finishes at the basket, he guards some of the best players. So, I mean, when you're missing a player like that who's not necessarily all-star caliber player, it kind of puts a drag on your entire team. That means now Mark Holmes has to do things he's not used to. Elston has to step up and do things he's not used to. And it takes away from the entire team when players like that are absent. As far as post-traumatic goes, it's a very good victory for them. They needed that. They hadn't won all season. Before then, I don't know if they've even been within 10 points any game. So they really needed that victory. Hopefully that gives them some confidence and they can keep rolling.
Okay. Well, this week finished off basically in a dead tie, 4-4 each club. Kind of exposed a few teams, showed us who's kind of the top ones, but all in all, both clubs kind of are equal at this point, and it'll be interesting to see how things shape up, don't you think?
Well, that's good because I represent both clubs. I play at both places, so I don't mind it being 4-4. I think there are two different types of game from Schaumburg to Bloomingdale, but I still feel like the talent is equal at both spots. So,
what do you think the difference is between the two clubs?
I think in Schaumburg, I would call Schaumburg the East Coast.
More offense?
They're the teams that, they got the big guys. They sometimes they slow it down. They dump it in the post. Sometimes they run offense. But like Bloomingdale's more of like a West Coast tempo where they're up and down. You get games in the hundreds very often. Defense is seldom. So I feel like they're just two different types of games.
Well, everyone, there it is. Interleague play wrapping up here. Getting ready to go down the home stretch into the playoffs. Sean Richardson here giving us a great analysis of the week. So thank you.